theory applications which are related for the computer science. They deal with what are called the Maxwell's equations, and the transformations like, we use what are called Hankel transformations, because based on that, you can think of applying anything that can be done with the theory of what you call the vector calculus, and its applications can be used. So basically the transforms which we come across for what you call in the signal processing are basically Fourier transforms and Laplace transform, because we convert every part of information in the form of a signal, and then we process it, or we transfer that information from the one point to the other point, or in order to change the history with nothing but with the what you call the contributions of electromagnetic theory, for which the Maxwell's contributed, and they are nothing but electrodynamic equations we call. So these four equations are very much essential, without which nothing will take place. Now let's see that. Unit measure when you are transferring from one place to another place, and from the what you call any kind of transformation that you are going to undertake should be done with what you call, as we measured, order of measure is required. So order of measure that determines, we use what you call second law of thermodynamics, and that's called Boltzmann thermodynamics. This deals with what are called order of entropy, it's called. This is also called disorderness that be measured, because as I said, the course of change of history is related with a successive event or a failure event. How you can measure it using what is called Boltzmann's equations, we use it. Next please. Now, so added to this, another thing is, we also deal with what we call the mass energy equivalence also. That's proposed by Einstein. So these are all what are called the basic equations that I will be using it, and then without which nothing will take place. So let us see this next. In addition to that, we also deal with what is called Schrodinger's wave equation. Basically, it also helps in what we call to observe the changes that they are going to come, or that they are going to observe in the history, can be done by using Schrodinger's wave equation, we call it as. So and also now, using all these things, the combination of all these things, equations, constitute to investigate with what are called the first concept of few and fundamental concepts of what is everything, internet of everything, and internet based of industrial life. You see, you can use logistics, you can see the medical field, you can also use in what we call energy, as well as construction, and also for our what we call for our bread and butter as non-urban agriculture. So what is IOE and IoT? Basically, they're all what are called internet of everything and internet of things. See, I will just tell what is called internet of things. The first is devices or computers, machines which are connected by the time Kelvin asked on, he happened to name it as to be an Internet of Things. It's called IoT, refers to Internet of Things, while IoE refers to Internet of Everything. See, Internet of Everything refers to basically it's a concept that is not a big difference between in common belief of IoT is what generation before IOE. So the tools which is that first is called Arduino, is an open source prototyping platform based on easy to use hardware and software, which include application of frameworks and services, and that include open service implementation of IoT protocols and tools for working with a Lua, and which Eclipse is promoting as an ideal IoT programming language is called. Okay, now here are these applications, IoT tools and applications. The Internet of Everything development platform is support of a Oracle or a Java. You can use it in the embedded systems and machine embedded. Developers and systems integrators innovate now. This is the object of this, and in this we use what our thing and remote places and monitoring and tracking and industrial controls, and also nowadays everybody is worried about using their applications in the healthcare. So these are all the applications. So you can see this basically we are establishing a digital business KPIs and revenue generation, and what you call you have omni-channel responsibilities of development of what you call data management, values creation, market connectivity and market centricity, and business models, revenue models, value operations, customer centricity and ecosystems, and then you need to have a management for the what you call in order to have a enablement, and to have enablement we have different types of environments are there. For example, you have application processes are there, and cloud platform is there, and also blockchain and whatnot, digital. So all these things comes under what are called, these are basically a part of the open digital architecture and time monitoring from applications, and in which we use the analytics a lot. And also Agile is basically we use as a toolkit for that. And then after that what we do is you need to adopt a strategy, regulatory approach for organizations, leadership skills, and you have to combine them together and then try to generate the revenue and establish the business of any kind. So these are what are called IOE evaluation tools. This includes basically there should be an organization which has to keep an eye on what we call standardizing certain metrics in order to find out the performance of tasks, in which IFAD independent evaluation ratings of database are there. And also we use what we call interactive map is also another concept we use it, and these are what evaluation tools we call. Now IFAD basically independent office evaluation, it's called independent office evaluation of IFAD. IOE is basically a making publicity available for rating and the performance of the supported operations available, such as IOE joins in few development organizations that currently make such data available to the public at large. The broader aim of disclosing such evaluation data is to further strengthen what we call organizations' accountability and transparency. So the next what we have is there is the independent evaluation result. So naturally, its development we have to account for what are called the research and academics. We have to bring them together in order to conduct their own way of analyzing the things while they are deploying IoT in a IoE based environment or IoE based data. So now there are certain reports or interactive maps are available for the IoE map reports. In the context of if you look into the 10th century of IFAD, independent evaluation function, independent office evaluation, they developed an interactive map to provide an easy and quicker access to nearly 200 evaluation reports released from 2003. The reports are grouped by regions as per the country, year, type of evaluation. Of these, 10 years of the IOE has accumulated and a significant amount of evaluative data is available. So now, in the context of the 10th century, if you see this development of, IFAD development evaluation function, independent office evaluation, these are all developed to have an interactive map that will provide to have an easy and quicker access to nearly 2000 evaluation reports released from 2003. So the reports are grouped by regions, and regions are grouped by regions, country, year, type of evaluation, and every once in a 10 years they will make, and IOE is accumulated a significant amount of evaluation data for larger scale analysis, performance and impact of IFAD operations. Interactive map is going to be updated regularly, and generally information about IOE publications, including evaluation reports that are produced 2003 and other types of reports not contained in the interactive map. That means thematic evaluations and project completion report validations are also available on evaluation gallery or upon request from independent office evaluation. You can have it from the evaluation at ifad.org. Now, basically, What is IoE development platform is a tool for unlocking the new possible Internet of everything, in Internet of everything. So this is basically a development platform. It's a tool for unlocking new possibilities in the Internet of everything. So let us see this now. There are certain challenges are there, which include market, customers, business, technology. For example, if you ask marketing, how to enable IoE in monetization and how it can be used in branded management IoE world, and how one can have a customer, how a customer can trust this, and then how to create the trust for them, and what type of security and privacy policies that are you are going to do, and then again how the mindset and culture that you are going to deal with that, and again what you need to have a scaling for proven solutions you need to put it, and also the most important thing is the importance of the communication with regard to IoE vision, with regard to the IoE vision, and then business vocabulary that we are going to use. So when these are all what are called the various market customers requirement, and then if you tell about the business requirement, it includes what type of models you are using, what type of transactions of business you are performing, how the partnering is going to be had, and how you are going to discover ecosystems, and then how unlocking the values in the data, and again how you are going to give importance for ownership of the data, and also how the workforce skill gap you are going to fill, and this related with business issues. The next what you have is you are going to deal with the technology issues that include E2E automation and management, and legacy systems of process, and standardization, interoperability, real-time business systems, and architecture of the Internet of everything, how we are going to deal with. And next is the most important thing is how the delivery concept that you are going to deal with in the very while you are working in a IoE environment. So basically, this future is related to connecting marketing and advertising. The second is connected healthcare and patient monitoring. So, and also in this we have, when you say about it, we will use what are called Eulerian video magnification, and also radiate shot, and also personal secure data stores, and what you call IBM's master. So when you deal with Eulerian video magnifications, we use what are called Eulerian graphs, we use it basically. And radiate shots, we use what are called the Tyndall effective shots, we use it. And then other things are there, like IBM's Watson, it's basically, it's a cloud. And your doctor could be alerted to know and follow up of any issues that are needed to be addressed. Additionally, clinical trials are also possible. That could be accomplished with what is called enormous number of patients as early as any data project is done today. This will improve trial outcomes and leading to improved best performances and more effective medical drugs and devices, treatments and therapies can be adapted, where the question of the principal component analysis makes a significant role. Now, IoT basically, it is a system of interconnected computing devices, mechanical, electrical, digital machines and objects, animals, of people that are provided with a unique identity, which we are calling a UID, we are calling it, and the ability to transfer the data over a network, without requiring the involvement of any human being or human to computer interaction. So this is what we have. Let's see this now. So when you want to go here, there are what are called, basically you need to know there are about 4 components, 5 components, 2 components this side, 2 components other side, and you need to bridge it in order to deploy them. The first include how you can monitor, how you can give the services, and how you can manage, and how you can update, and how you can decommission, and then immediately the question of deployment will arise. Now, this, when you want to deal with this, there are what are called certain protocols, because you can't do everything at it. Whenever it comes and whenever you want to deploy, it's not possible. So there is a what is called well-defined structure in which the things can be executed. Those are related with what are called protocols, we call it to be as. That's also called hierarchical performance of the task. Hierarchical performance of the task to be, in order to get our what we call expected root out of it. So in that, if you see IoT protocol, they include what are called basically Bluetooth, Zigbee. Of course, I will tell one and that. Bluetooth is basically is a low energy consumption protocol. It will not consume much energy, and it will consume very low energy. And one of the most broadly used wireless communication system today, they use short range in Bluetooth, because you can get quickly the Bluetooth apps that are available, wearable technology are pairing with the smart gadgets. We recently introduced Bluetooth protocol among the IoT protocol. It is called BLE, called Bluetooth Low Energy Protocol. It will afford the range of conventional Bluetooth in a combined with lower power consumption supremacy. So if you look into this, basically this is the IoT, Bluetooth network hub will be there, and these are user applications will be there. They will map it to the IoT internet, and then with the Bluetooth network, it can be messed up. So how it will take place. Now, this is called Zigbee. The name itself says that Zigbee is designed for basically for industrial applications, industrial automation procedures, and then it usually operates at a frequency of 2.4 gigahertz. This is the ideal for the industrial side, where data is generally transferred over a small rates among a home or a building. So this is big Zigbee. You can see this because you have control your world. If you want to control your world, this can deal with any kind of industrial automation procedure. You can adopt it. Now, next is Blue, Zigbee, MQTT, AMQTT. So MQTT basically, this basically deals with what we call an IoT protocol. Deals with message exchange protocols, and full form of message queue telemetry transport, we call it. It is basically developed by Arlie Nyberg and from Mr. Andy Stanford from IBM. They developed it. It is mostly used for what we call monitoring from a remote area, everything. This is our requirement also today, what I am doing. When I tell the application, I will be aware of it. And this is basically principal task that MQTT does is obtaining data from so many electrical devices and then deploy them for the cause of that our requirement. Okay, right. Next step. MQTT, then we have, MQTT is basically message protocol. I said it is message queue telemetry transport protocol, I said. So using that will do. So now a hub spoke. This adapts what we call the architecture is basically hub and spoke architecture is fundamentally ordinary for what is called the MQTT protocol. This is made three core components are there, mechanism. In this there is a subscriber, a publisher, and also one broker will be there. The work of the publisher is only to generate data and transmitting the data to the subscriber with the help of the broker. And then ensuring that security is the job of the broker. It does it by rechecking that authorization of subscribers and publishers. So therefore, these are three components basically. This mechanism includes subscribing, publishing, and brokership. So the work, I mean to say, the work of the publisher is only basically has to generate the data and transmit the data to subscriber with the aid of the broker. Ensuring security, the job of the broker, it does it by checking and rechecking the authorization of the subscriber and the publishers. So now, after MQTT, there is one more protocol, COIA. COIA means basically constrained application, we call it as protocol. Internet connectivity and utility protocol is mainly developed the restricted smart gadgets actually. So the design of COIA is only for using among the devices that have identical restricted community. Not everybody. It includes general nodes and divided on internet and different restrained networks on devices that are found in the internet. So you can see this basically. This is what you have. So the internet you have, this you have server 1, server 2, this is a proxy is there, and they are related and they are now going to be linked with the IOT protocols, and then they will be executed because based on the constraints of the environment, are going to deal with that. So it basically open IETF standard it is having. It has a compact 4-byte header and it is a UDP, user datagram protocol, and also supports the SMS that are the part of the TCP IP and supports what we call strong DTLS security, and it's also related with asynchronous subscription. Okay, and built in a disk array. So these are all based on WebGoApp actually. Because I told you, the design of this is only for using among the devices that are having identical restricted community. It's not provided for everybody. It's only meant for restricted community. So therefore, you need to, strictly adhere by the constraints. That's what called constraints. Okay, right. Next. Data distribution services among the Internet of Things protocols, IoT message protocols, DDS, we call data distribution services, is a strong standard for high performance and expandable and real-time machine-to-machine communication. Then it is developed and designed by OMG. They have developed object management group. They have developed it, and we are using it. It includes two significant layers are there. Those includes what are called DLRL and the DCP of the data-centric. But in this, publish, subscribe works by delivering information to the subscribers. Then this also data local reconstruction layer does its job by providing an interface to the data-centric public subscribe functionalities. That's another thing. So you can see this. Basic another thing is near field communication with NFC protocol, we call it as. This is from the IoT protocols, takes the benefit of safe two-way communication linking. Recently, we saw that only NFC IoT communication protocols are applicable for smartphones. Okay, so you can see this connecting, commissioning, controlling. All these three components are dealt in this. So next comes under the NFC, near-field communications allows the clients to connect to their electronic devices to use digital contents and to do contactless payment transactions. Essential work for near-field communication is to expand the contactless card technology. It works within 4 centimeters by enabling the devices for sharing the information. Right. AMQP. These are all various protocols I said, because without telling that I can't straight away enter into the domain, that's why I'm telling. So advanced message queuing protocol, yeah. You have already seen message queuing protocols. Now advanced message queuing protocol is with an application. It's basically in the application layer protocol. It is located in the application layer protocol and basically message oriented and designed for middleware environment, and this AMQP IoT messaging protocols got the approval as an international standard. The processing chain of the AMQP IoT protocol consists of 3 necessary components that includes one is called exchange, message, and put a queue and then bind them. So these are all the components of this in this. Okay, now the part of the exchange part works for getting the message and putting them in the queue. We will get the messages from the source and then put them in a queue. Then the job of the message is queue is to store the message and it stores the information until the messages are developed by the client application safely. The binding component does the connection between the exchange component and message queue component, because it has to bridge the gap. Right. Next slide. There is one more called LoRaWAN. This is also called a low-range wide area networks. It's also one of the IoT protocol for wide area networks, we call it as. And this is LoRaWAN IoT network protocol is specially designed for supporting wide area networks with the aid of millions low power devices, and smart cities use this kind of protocol. Right. Applications include smart home, wearables, smart city, smart grids, industrial net, internet, connected car, connected health, and smart retail, supply chain, and smart farming. Which the last one is of my interest. I will just tell you. The IoT development tools, I already told you, Arduino, Eclipse, Quinoa, and M2M Labs, and then Node-RED. These are the different what are called tools that we'll be using it. Now let us see this now. We'll look into this. What is the Arduino? Basically, hardware component can vary from low power boards and single board processors like the Arduino Uno, which are basically smaller boards that are plugged into main boards to improve and increase its functionality by bringing out specific functions or features. That includes GPS, location of GPS, GPS, light and heat sensors, and interactive displays. That's the reason why I was speaking about the way the other things inside. Okay, next, under what we call the Bagel board is again a single board computer which support Linux operating system as OS. And today you have seen that without OS also we can run an Debian. So I will tell that protocol after some time. See, this basically it is a Linux-based operating system. The Bagel board is it functions on Linux board operating system that uses what are called advanced radio maps and processors capable of more powerful processing than Raspberry and TouchJ. Intel Galileo and what you call Edison boards are also other options. You can use it, but see, great both great for larger scale of production, and Qualcomm has a manufactured array of enterprise level this IoT technology for what you call today vehicles like cars and cameras to healthcare. Now, basically you need this entire thing. IoT is dependent on what are called basically works on RFID. So I will tell that also in few minutes. I will tell. See, hardware includes the most important IoT hardware might be its sensors. These devices consist of a variety of modules such as energy modules, radio frequency modules, power management modules, and sensing modules. This is very important. Please see this. See, IoT sensors, its most important IoT hardware might be sensors, I said. In this, you can see this, for example, I have used it. Look here. See the, position and presence of rocks I have, the motion, velocity, deployment, temperature, humidity measurement, and also acoustic sound vibration, chemical, flow of water, then force that you are going to use in order to load it, and also torque, strain, pressure, other things you have to do. Again, you have what you call leaks and levels that you have to identify for electric magnetic system. Electric magnetic system component is also there, acceleration kit, then machine vision, optimal ambient light. So ambient light, these things are required. So these are all basically in order to account for their effect. What we do is we control them with the sensors. So that's why I said IoT is basically a sensor controlled environment. Let me see. So now we look IoT hardware like wearable gadgets, electronic devices, wearable devices, small devices that can be both. You can wear it on head or neck, arm, and torso, and other feet. Hardware devices include light blue, beam pitch through, microdynamic, open biscuits and Pinaco, Rasmax, Solar, and Tessel, Udo, and these things are there. See, look here, clock devices. Now, there are software. IoT software encompasses a wide range of software and programming languages, from general purpose languages like the standard languages like C++, Java, and embedded specific choices like Google's Go language or C, C++, Java, Python, Bhash. Unlike most of the languages mentioned so far, Bhash was specially designed for in an environment of embedded nature. And embedded system that support embedded systems is small and compact and has less memory inside. Here I am to tell one important thing why you have to have the less memory inside is we will always give why we are designing the algorithms also. We need to keep the constraints that are essential to keep in our mind while designing the algorithm is space and time. In the same way here also, we don't want to have large space. We don't want to have the objects with the largest space. We want to have as much less space as possible, and also for computation time also, we don't want to take more time. We want to compute everything in a less amount of time. So that's because it helps in other way to to save the memory, to save the memory of the memory cells, to save the memory. So all these things are there. Now, the middleware basically connect different, often complex and already existing programs that are originally designed to be connected. The essence of the Internet of Things is making possible for just about anything to be connected and communicate data over network. Middleware is basically practiced at the architecture enabling connectivity for huge number of devices things by providing a connectivity layer for sensors and also for the application layer that provides services that ensure the effective communication among software. Now, other IoT middleware, including IoT systems, IoT we call it Open IoT, then Contiki, Raspberry, Right, and Spark, Freeboard, etc. All these available. This includes, for example, these are basically IoT devices include, I told you, sensor and actuator. As we go for middleware, this is a combination of device management and service agents we have. And in that include, we need to have IoT applications required, and that you and dB decibels are there. And then data processing in this, data transformation is there. You have to analyze the data, if there is analytics are required, and then context processing is also required, and you need to store it and then go for a deployment. Then next is, when you are applying, you have to be very careful about security issues that includes authentication, authorization, accounting. Then another is that the third component of this middleware, then next is enterprise layer we have. This includes application users, big data, enterprise applications, and what you call tools and how one can control all these things. So these are all where you can use the applications in this. You have what is SAP are there, SAS are there, Lex is there, and 20 bus, open text, and Silk and other things are also available. These are the very ones are available. Now, the next aspect is integration tools, because you need to have an integration. The tools that are essential to use for integration include what you call device hub, and device hubnet, and then IoT toolkit and Mango. We call Mango open remote site where things speak. So these are all what are called tools are there. So basically, intention of this is only to control the environment. When you wanted to control, you have to also take care of how waste can be taken care and how you can, take care of the requirement of wave composition and the purity of the water and other things are also required. So that's why now we are in the, because today, depending on what are also called effluences that are being released by vehicles and spoiling the environment, in that also we have to keep a track of. So for that you have to track the vehicle and you have to have extreme weather is required, and then for that waste management, air water pollution, all these things are there. Now, Internet of Things as far as environmental monitoring is concerned, it's basically related to smart sensors and IP data loggers, digital water, and then you need to provide a cloud-based terminal, you have to put it, and then you have to create a smart city. Okay, and also you need to keep a monitoring of the entire all the networks you have to monitor, and then you have to also take care of data anywhere, anytime you have to provide, and then with the aid of the smart sensors, you can always achieve this. IoT transformation monitoring environment, because it helps, basically I told you, it's a supported with RFID. It's basically radio frequency identifiers, and they are linked to sensors, and then there they are creating transformation for monitoring environment. See, this is what you have. Because when you speak about it, as far as the RFID IoT platform is concerned, it is a question of dealing with how safely you can do, how you can assess it, maximization, equipment utilization, how the materials can be the real time, material visibility you can use it, what type of workforce you require, and what is the project maximum size, all these things are required. They are related with what you call RFID IoT platform. Now you need to club this with a sensors. So the sensor things, because we are dealing with the waste man and other things, and because dealing with the smart houses, smart houses and everything, so naturally you need to create a environment where it should be environment cool, and it should be free from dust, and it should be free from noise, and it should be free from what you call influences that are released by the different factories, and real-time alert has to be made, and then data boards and reports. All these things you have to link to the sensor, and then that will be linked to the RFID. Okay. Now, So these are all the requirements. Now I am telling about what exactly application within 15 minutes at most. See, basically, it is an application sector in which I wanted to use IoT. For the agricultural sector, I wanted to use the application domain, the agriculture sector, where I use the most important clustering, I will use it, and also I use what we call divide and conquer algorithms also I use it. So now let us see this. Basically, use what we call clustering. I just tell what exactly is clustering and then go. It is a technique with roots that the graph theory has developed, where the approach is used identifying grouping the nodes in a graph based on edges and connecting them. The method is flexible and it will allow us to cluster non-graph data also. Clustering is one of the most widely used techniques for explanatory data analysis with the applications of range statistics, computer science, biology to social science or psychology. In virtually every scientific field dealing with empirical data, the developer attempt to get first impression on their data by trying to identify groups of similar behavior of the data in their data show. Right. Now, what I have used, I am just telling. I have used spectral clustering. This is very simple in this. See, this is a very simple tool that basically is from graph theory point of view, that is adaptable in the statistical environment. The main tool for spectral the clustering or graph to use what are called Laplacian matrices. We use it. The Laplacian matrix, there exists a whole field dedicated to the study of these matrices. We call it with the spectral graph theory. In that, we use the most important concept like calculation of the adjacency of the matrix, and then what we call where you wanted to have a drip, and then how the what we call the Laplacian matrix can be calculated from that. See, this basically adjacency matrix, you know very well, the adjacency matrix. If there is a direction, we write here. If there is no direction, we write simply equal. So this is called adjacency matrix is nothing but determining the direction, because they are related with the graphs, directed graphs. Okay. So basically, I am using it. It is in an irrigation system. I want to use this irrigation system in which the manual process need human interaction, and if human interaction is missing, then entire work can be continued. There is a disadvantage of human interaction in water pumping to crops. Most of the times, water resources are wasted and they will not be available as and when we require exactly. So to overcome from the situation, and also another problem of that, what do you call, every time manually, what do you call, watering is sometimes, it's a tough time, we have to think. So, and you have to adapt, you have to employ somebody, and they have to take care of it, all these things. In this connection or in this possibility, it's not possible to provide exactly the required amount of water. So, one is related with what do you call availability of the required water. The other problem related with maneuvering using human resources, and then next is amount of water that you are going to put upon, and also you have to take care of the wastage of the water. Keeping in all these things in our mind, we happen to develop a system that protects takes care of all these requirements while you are using in an irrigative process. We call this the drip irrigation system. We cannot adapt any automated watering system to crops, because crops require only drop by drop that can use it, and we don't want to waste the water. So therefore, in this scenario, I wanted to adapt the clustering, as I told you already. The basic graph theory I wanted to use using an adjacency matrix, and then I'll find out drip locations. If you want drip locations, adjacency matrices, I will use it and then try to create a drip there. So it is basically my intentions. I told you, I don't want to waste the amount of water. I don't want to have any human human to pour the water in the field, and I don't want the water to get wasted. I don't want to have any leakage in the pumps, pipes, pipelines. So to take care of all these things, I have developed the first system, and we have put it to practice. We are successful. What I do is, instead of pouring the water in a huge amount, I will sprinkle the water in the required amount, and then the wastages will be minimized. This is the what you call the most important thing I've used it. Basically, what are the advantages I'm telling? I have used IoT in drip irrigation because it saves the water. It also it forecasts the weather, and also it assesses the water amount required, and also it assesses what you call the quality of the soil that is going to be. You have the quality of the soil to be sensitive, and also leakage of the water like pipelines you tied out, and then repairing of leakage points at the time without wasting your resources. That's what you do. So there are. For this, what I do is, this is the advantage I said. Now, in order to do this, I have adopted the first algorithm, divide and conquer, because my intention, most of the petitions use this divide and conquer, whereas I used it for a productive one. Divide and conquer algorithm is designed a paradigm that based on what we call multi-branch recursion. We have recursion and regression. I have also used it. So a divide and conquer algorithm works by recursively means repeatedly breaking down a problem into two or more sub-problems of the same and related type until these becomes a simple enough to be solved directly. So this system, what it is, spectral clustering, I have used it with the aid of divide and conquer algorithm, and I have a success. The components of my requirements include simply a phone gateway, a smartphone, and a water line, water level monitoring, and temperature sensor, and also temperature monitor. So the system offers required water to the field with this, and more water or limited water are depicted. It is the stimulated environment for drip irrigation system in crop fields. It saves a lot of water wastage and water pumping energy. The device used it in designing the system. I already told you I use it. A gateway, a smartphone, and I used it to water level monitoring and temperature sensor and temperature monitor. This is basically the one. See in this, if you look at it, see temperature monitoring system. I have a water switch. I have temperature monitoring system with this you have, and then I have one heating element will be there, and then it will sense the temperature and then give that. The next is water sprinkler with the time delay. If you see this is what you have. And the smartphone is connected to this, gateway is there, and then you use what you call a LAN here, as we say, and then the water level can be mentioned here. Water monitor, level monitor will be there. With that, using that, the entire job can be executed. So therefore, it's called a simulated environment. We have used it. Now, it is the important domain in IoT that provides support to farmers because we are basically dependent on agriculture income to our country. So we have to take care of the agriculture needs. In that context only, we have happened to develop this and we have used it. This utilizes water resources in an efficient manner, field type, whether the field are different from crop to crop. In case, in this scenario, we need to observe the crop type, soil type, region type, and weather condition, then decide water requirement for the crops. Whether water utilization system follows the drip irrigation system, which is efficient way to water distribution in the field. So the algorithm used in this particular problem, spectral clustering method, I have used it for the distribution. Spectral clustering method for distribution. All the drip points, what happens, I connect them through in a graph, in the connected under clustering for special location. Existing water resources, water requirement in the field with available number of drip points, finally the water which is distributed in the field should not be wasted. That's our intention. So using this we developed it. So you can see, basically, So water resources, we have a wastage, leakage of water in the field also can be accounted. It also helps farmer for efficient optimal utilization of water resources, and then how it can be work, we'll show that. See this. How it can work, you can see. Internet of Things is a system of interconnected computing devices, I said. They can be mechanical, digital, machines, objects, animals, or people that are provided with unique identities, I said. Ability to transfer that over a network without requiring human to human or human to system interaction depend. It is basically application of an ICT based environment we call information and communication technology. We use it. Information, communication technology into agriculture sector. It is based on smart farming. A system is built for monitoring to crop field with the help of sensors. Light, humidity, temperature, soil and moisture, etc. Automating irrigation system we have developed. So in the irrigation system, basically, it is a concern to agriculture related to agriculture field, and it use related to different crops. Application can be used in 3 ways to support the farmers maintaining maintaining water level at the field, and reduction of the human resources interference, and also exact amount of water is required for a crop, and also taking care of the taking care of the water level monitoring, and also sensing the temperature of the water, because in certain geographical fields the temperature is cold and certain fields hot. So to take care of that, an automatic water level control in any system, water flow fields you have to. See, this is basically what is spectral clustering. I just said it is a technique with the roots that graph theory where approaches is identically grouping nodes in a graph based on edges connecting them. Nodes graph based on the edges connecting them. The method is flexible and allow us. The method is flexible and allow us to cluster non-graph data. Clustering is one of the most important methods that is widely used for exploratory data analysis. With the applications, as I already told you, statistics, and also any other fields of life sciences we can also use. It is virtually very significant field dealing with the empirical data that developer attempt to get a first impression on their data by trying to identify groups of the similar behavior in the data. This is what we have shown. Right. Main tool is, as I already told you, my intention to create a Laplacian graph I wanted to create, and then this section we want to define different graph Laplacians and point out on the most important properties. We will carefully distinguish between different variants of the graph Laplacian. In the literature it's noted that there is a unique convention which matrix exactly is called a graph Laplacian. We generally assume that G is an undirected weight graph with a weight matrix where you have used a mathematical sum using Wij is equal to Wij is greater than or 0. Using this, another application of mathematics we use it's called eigenvalues and eigenvectors. Because while you are using eigenvalues and eigenvectors, we have to, while we are the application of that where we used it, basically we use it with filters with low range filters we use. So eigenvectors and eigenvalues of the matrices will play an important role, and we will be using that only in a normalized form. For example, the constant vector, the multiple vector of some A not equal to 0 will be considered the same eigenvector. Eigenvalues will be always ordered increasingly respecting multiplication. The first three eigenvectors, we refer the eigenvectors corresponding to k smallest eigenvalues. In analysis of the problem, it deals with a manual analysis, needed human interaction. If human interaction is inside, then later what cannot be done. There is a disadvantage with the human interaction, and what from sometimes people express their ability or inability, or ability to do or inability to not to do. All these things are possible. Most of the time, the water resources are get wasted on account of the influence of the human there. So we require a unique solution. We require a unique way to protect. That is not the thing, but we automate everything. Another problem with manual watering is sometimes the water power it may be more or less, when irregular, it's not consistent. So it's not possible to provide exactly the required water. In this scenario, we can adapt in a most optimal environment that will help us to create automated watering system for the crops. That is none other than drip irrigation system we call it. It will not pour, it will sprinkle the water. So water can be wasted unless less quantity of the water is provided. So even the replication system, we can minimize the human interaction with the system by introducing in an IoT and IoT system. Internet of Things, you have to introduce system in an agricultural field. So this provides, there are two phases are there. First phase is to identify the available resources and number of drip points and for water sprinkling. Second phase checks the water. Second phase checks the water utilized from each drip point to analyze whether the allotted water is consumed from each point or not. If there are some points are there from which the water can be easily released, it helps this, it helps the system to analyze the successful utilization of water in the field or leakage of the identifying leakage of the seepage points. So solution of the implementation that I will tell, and then we'll go to the how that can. System offers the required water field, more water, unlimited water, as already shown the figure. The simulated environment for drip irrigation system in the crops. It saves a lot of water wastage and water pumping energy. Device used in designing the system. Already told, home gateway is required, smartphone is required, water level monitor is required, temperature sensor is required, temperature monitor is required. So we club them all these things in this. So this is what you have. The algorithm, what we did is, I said divided algorithm is suitable for implementation of drip irrigation system. It works on identifying the available water resources, existing number of drip points, and requirement of the water in the field according to sense weather. Divide and conquer algorithm is used to only divide available water resources equally to each drip point and release the water for a particular period while providing water for the next time. The system the system will sense the water status and takes the decision that how much water is required to support the field, following the steps to implementation of the algorithm. See this what we have. This is the algorithm we have. Kindly just. There are about 4-5 steps are there. I will just tell them. This is including how implementation system for the drip irrigation. This includes first phase. There are two phases are there. First step is nothing but you need to select the point of points available water, sprinkling in the field. Then the second is points required Step 3 is identify the available water source in the field to supply. Then apply equal water quantity sprinkling from each drip to what is called divide process. And then use divide of algorithm to divide the available water source. So therefore, this is I used conquer algorithm, nothing but implemented conquer process in divide conquer algorithm. This water utilized from each drip point according to allocated water from each point to sprinkler. The second step is to assess the total water consumed from the drip points and compare with the quantity of the water proposed to pump the field. The next is if the sum of water pumped from the drip system is equal to the quantity of the pumped from the source, the system is correct. Otherwise, the system is
Hello, sir.
Hello? Yeah, बोलिए sir.
Yes, sir. How much time is it?
I am just closing in 5 minutes. 5 minutes.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir.
I need just only 3 minutes.
Okay, sir.
I am just closing. What's the problem? I'm unable to understand. They're there. So now, that's what I'm telling. You can see this. So therefore, there is second phase is conquering, I say, assessing the total water consumed and some of the water pump drip system, and then there is any difference, then we can identify that there is seepage or leakage in the pipeline, you can say, and it will be indicated on the mobile, and it shows that, and we can still go in deep, identify which dip and sand water is released. Then a decision has to be taken. Okay. Right.
Audience, is there any questions? Audience, please.
Hello? Audible? Hello?
Sir, audience is asking the question, sir. Murthy, sir.
Yeah, please. Yeah, बोलिए sir.
हाँ sir, audience is asking
Hello?
some questions, sir.
Let them post it here. I am unable to hear. Let them ask. I am here to answer. Please answer. Let them answer. I will answer to them. Let them pose the question. Whatever, sir. Hello. I am unable to get you, Rajesh. Hello. Hello. Hello, sir.
Sir, audience is asking the question, sir.
Let them ask me. I will answer to them. Can you let?
Hello.
Ask them to.
Hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, good afternoon, sir. Sir, my question.
बोलिए sir, please sir. Yeah, sir.
Sir, my question is that Iot is the hardware and inbuilt software, and it is used for general purpose. Similarly, our embedded system is also hardware and inbuilt software. So, what
Yes,
is the
sir.
basic difference between these two, sir?
Embedded system only is basically, it is an inbuilt operating system, where IoT, it's having a different architecture, totally different architecture. Because, and deployment of the protocols also matters, and deployment of tools also matters. Because, you know, I have given there are several types of protocols, for example, Zigbee, okay, Blue. They see, for example, Blue is only low energy limited. It will work only in limited environment, whereas it cannot be expanded more than 1 kilometer or something like that. Hello? Are you getting me? Hello?
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, sir. Okay.
Right.
Sir, thank you,
Thank
sir.
you, sir.
I would like
You
to
are
thank
welcome. You are welcome.
Professor Raman Murthy, sir, for his knowledgeable and wonderful sessions on the IoT applications in agriculture sector. Thank you very much, sir. Your
Thank you, sir.
cooperations is
You
needed
are
for
welcome.
the
Okay,
future
sir.
also, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Devices are different and protocols are different. Accordingly, one can infer the difference between them. Okay, sir? Right.
Sir, can I leave it, sir? Can I end this session, sir?
Hello. Hello.
Thank you so much, Professor Ramanmurthy, sir, for your informative presentation on IoT application in agriculture sector and also for your presentation.
Set like I
जरूरत नहीं है, I can speak loudly. बाजूला
have chosen the problem, but you don't know what data you are going to do over. Whether this is a real-time data, or whether it is a primary source of data is there, or secondary data is there, we don't know. So this is the real fact and the real problem of selection of the data itself. So friends, what I am going to discuss with you for next month is what exactly the data, how we are going to have a classification, clustering and analysis of that. So friends, I will start my presentation itself by that how the data is going to be defined. So friends, whenever you are taking any problem, whenever you have chosen the topic, okay, now I will come to the next step here. Whenever you have chosen the topic, so first we have to understand that what kind of data I want. This is a very important stage, or it is a very important step. So yesterday I was in some meeting. Okay, so some student he is stating that a problem of a compression. Many of you might be knowing about the digital image processing. Now the compression problem has gone away now because we have very bandwidth devices nowadays. Okay, so you choose a problem such a manner that so that problem will have some realistic applications. Okay, then now whenever we are going to choose a particular problem, so what kind of data we need for doing a research. So friends, now your data refers to the discrete objectives, facts about an event or process. Now whenever you are choosing a particular problem, so first you have to define your data. Okay, now your data may be any observations or any experiments or any calculations, whatever. Any observations, okay, like for example chemistry people, they are going to do some research on experimental basis, okay, some observational basis. Okay, now we have to decide that what kind of data we want. So friends, when you have collected the data, okay, either it may be experimental observations, either it may be what you call calculations or observations, you have to analyze those data. That data can be meaningful only when an human or machine interprets its context. So it is very, very important that whatever data we have collected, the interpretation is very important. So friends, you might be knowing, we are collecting the data in an Excel sheet. We are making a pie chart, bar graph, and now we are planning for writing the paper. So friends, it is not the way to write the paper. Okay, it is not the way to make an analysis of that. Okay, don't think that only the charting or it is a pie chart and bar graph is only the analysis. No, friends, there are many tools and techniques are there for analysis and interpretation of data. So friends, you might be knowing that we are doing a much research. We are doing so many experiments, but we are very lacking analysis of that. We are very lacking the interpretation of data. Friends, you might be knowing there are so many papers, foreign authors written papers you are going to see. A very simple problem is there, how they are going to analyze, how they are going to interpret, how they are going to represent in their paper. If you are looking into identical projections, if you are looking into expenditure, so you might be knowing that a simple problem, how they are going to analyze and how they are going to interpret. But we are doing better than that also. But we are unable to represent that data, okay, in a proper manner. So that's why, so my intention is how the data is going to be interpreted or classified. So friends, you might be knowing these are some examples of your data. This is the basic things here. Now data collection is such as numbers, words, measurements, observations or even event description of the things here. These are the basic definitions of your what you call a data class. Okay, you go for next. Now, so this is very, very important slide. Please look into this. Now, how the data you are going to make it. The data are the quantitative and the qualitative data. First, you have to make your own classification that whether the data whatever I am collecting, whether it is a quantitative data or it is a qualitative data. Okay. Whether you are working on a quantitative data, whether you are working on a qualitative data. Okay, friends, just one simple example. If you look into this particular tiger, if you are making a quantitative data and a qualitative data of this particular picture here, okay, your qualitative data is strong, his color is a mix up of black and brown strip, is having sharp teeth, etc. So these are the qualitative data here. If you are looking into the quantitative data, the numeric measurements of that particular things are these are the quantitative data. Now, whenever you are having what do you call data for doing, okay, so some of the papers or some of the researchers a flower classification, okay, or let's say fruits classification using machine learning. Okay, so many times what happens? So some of the experiments we are doing on medical analysis. Okay, so we have taken the parameters of a human body, height, weight, like this, some of the parameters we have taken. Later on you are realizing that no, I have to take this kind of data also for analysis. Like for example, one of my students is doing some research on neurological disorder, detection of neurological disorder using hand-written signature. By using a hand-written signature, I can go for neurological disorder. Okay. Like for example, many of you might be knowing that Parkinson's disease is one of the what you call a disease which is a neurological disorder. Parkinson's disease is going to be analyzed by a hand-written signature. Now, friends, a patient who is suffering from a sugar, diabetic, okay, so automatically his handwriting is going to make us safe. Now, for that, what kind of a data I have to collect here? Okay, whether I have to collect the sugar level, whether I have to collect the pulse rate, whether I have to collect the BP of that particular person or not. Okay, so that is the main intention here. Before doing your research, before doing your formulating the problem, you must and should know that what kind of data parameters I have to take. Okay, now suppose for example, you are doing a neurological disorder and if you are not taking any sugar level or can say sugar what you call parameters, later on you are realizing that no, BP is also one of the parameters so that I can take. And is it possible to take later on? No, friend. That's why your data description is a very, very important aspect before carrying out your research. That's why you have to make clear that what kind of data I have to take there. Whether I should take a qualitative data, whether I should take a quantitative data, make a data set, make a database description. So this is one of the major steps in your research that what kind of my database should be. My database should be a standard database. Okay. After that you will have so many what you call techniques for indexing, clustering, sorting, searching. That is different issue. Now first try to get the maximum parameters for a database. Okay. As many as parameters if you are taking, so that will be beneficial for doing a research and that will be beneficial for making an interpretation and clustering and even for classification. Friends, so these are some quantitative and qualitative data. Next. Okay. So now here again the data representation refers to the form in which data is stored, processed and transmitted. Okay. Now devices such as smartphones, iPods, and your computer device where you can store the data and you can make the normalization. Your simple database management system will come here. I think you will have the DBMS subject in your PV program. So you can manage those things here. Okay. Now, digitization is the process of converting your information such as your text, numbers, photo or music into a digital. So friends, maybe you are doing that natural language processing. Many of us we are doing a natural language processing also. Okay. The conversion of your Kannada to Marathi language or Marathi to English language. Okay. Any kind of a translation if you are doing. Now, the preparation of database is a big challenge for this. How you are going to make a database for conversion of Marathi language to English? Okay. How you are going to make a conversion of your Kannada language to Marathi, Marathi to English, Marathi to again Kannada? What kind of a database do you have? It is a big challenge for preparation of database itself. Okay. How you are going to make this? What kind of a language, what kind of a parser, what kind of a grammatical you are going to change? Okay, so that is a big challenge. That's why you can have the information, text, numbers, photo, okay, music, or into your digital file. So whenever we are doing for the creation of a database, we have to take care of all these things. Okay, now your digital evaluation has evolved through 4 phases. One is a big expensive standalone computers and your processing is there. Okay, go. No. So these are the basic parameters and the basic things for your characteristics of your data. Your data represents unorganized and unprocessed facts. Whenever you are going to take a data, it is an unorganized and unprocessed fact. Now, processing of a data itself became one paper for your research. Okay. Creation of a database itself is one of the part of your research. So, friends, one of my research scholars, she has created a knee X-ray database, and we have published it in a Schrodinger. Okay, it is publicly available now. Okay. Now, creation of a database with some international standard is a big challenge for you. Okay. So many of us might be knowing whatever the available database is there, whenever we are looking into many research theses, available database we have used. It is already processed, it is already papers are published on that, work has been done already. So what do you want to do on that? Whether you are waiting for a real-time database or not. This is one of the major issues in the research. Okay. So many of us, what we are doing? Yes, this is a real database which is available publicly on website. We have downloaded that, we have carried out our research work, and we made a comparative, and we are always claiming that our results are better than the earlier. Always they are claiming. Any algorithm you are applying, okay, where there is a comparative analysis always in our paper, we are saying that, we are claiming that our results are better than the other. So friends, this claim is not a valuable or it's a valid claim for us. So if you are an international reviewer, if you have sent a particular paper to international reviewer, simply he or she says that there is no novelty in the paper has been read. But we are always claiming that our proposed method, our proposed algorithm giving a better result. In what environment, in what condition, okay, in what algorithms, your data is, your results are good. So this is one of the big challenge here. Okay, so far. These are the types of protocol. Okay. Now, so these are the basic things, very basic things. Okay. So your key metrics for ensuring the quality of the data. Okay. So whenever you are collecting a data, it must samples and I have carried out my research and my results are far better than the earlier results. So friends, and again some of them they are taking 100 samples and they are making the argumentation as 1,000 samples. If you are taking 800, you can make argumentation 200. Make 1,000 is okay. Collection of data itself is 100 and we are making argumentation for 1,000. So this is not fair for doing a good research. So friends, that's why. So you have to have a real-time data where the data must be accurate and valid data you have to take care. Okay. So many times what happens? You see, whenever we are collecting the height and weight of the person, whenever we are collecting the height and weight of the person, normally, there is a scientific reason is there, this much height, they have to have this weight. Automatically we are note down in our own notebook. Suppose for example, I want to measure a height and weight of this particular ball. And my height is 165, nodal weight must be, as per the medical standard, weight must be like this. So friends, don't make such kind of assumption for creation of the data. Don't make such kind of assumption. You will not get a good results for that. Okay, that's why your data must be accurate and it must be a valid data. It must be a valid data and it is a reliable data and it should be a timeliness and it should be a relevance. I am making a more stress, I am supporting that it must be a relevant data. Many times what happens? We are collecting the data parameters which is not at all related to my research problem. And I am claiming that I have interpreted this, I have published this, I am doing this, I am doing this, I am doing this. So friends, don't do such kind of a practice that your data should be a relevant data. Whatever the data you are collecting, you have to have a relevance in the database. Okay. Now, it should be a complete data. Data must be a complete data. Don't take a partial data here. And your data should not be a bias. And make yourself the limitations of your database. Whatever the database description you are doing, you have to limit yourself. You have to write down yourself what is the limitations of this database. So why I am focusing on these points means whenever you are going to create a standard database, these are the parameters where you are creating the database. You are looking into these parameters. Okay, whenever a research paper goes to an international reviewer, whenever you are writing some description of the database, they are looking into all these things. And moreover, the last point is your ownership of the data. This is very important. Okay, so many times we are downloading the databases from the website, and some of us make clear that whether it is your data or it is other else data. So you have to acknowledge that. Okay, next. Okay, now what exactly the database? I am not going to again go for detail on this. There are so many databases which are available, multimedia database, GIS database, data warehouses, real-time data, many other applications you have. Okay. Yeah. Now, typically your functionality of the database is, as you know in your VMS, there will be a retrieval of data, modification, accessing data, and lastly you will have the processing and sharing of set of concurrent users and applications. This is just a background, or you can say, of your database, how you are going to create the database, what exactly the database you are going to have. So this is the preliminary things what you have. Okay, next. Now I will going to state that after collection of my data, as already I have told you that the data is a quantitative data, the data is a qualitative data. Okay. Now you have to make a clustering of that particular database. Now suppose for example, if you have taken only a 50 clustering of male and female. I want to make a clustering of male and female. Based on the same image, I want to make a clustering of those who are MSc first year, those who are MSc second year, those who are a research scholar, those who are a faculty member. Such kind of a clustering I want to do. Okay. By taking a single snapshot, I want to do such kind of a research. Okay. Now, even I want to make some research that how many of them they have really passed, how many of them they have not really passed. Again, how many male they have really passed, how many female they have really passed. Okay. Taking one photograph, I can make many things in my picture. Okay. Making a clustering of that particular image, that particular data is a big challenge for us. Okay. So now here, the practice of classifying the objects according to the perceived similarity is the basis of for much of the science here. Okay. There will be nowadays many of us we are knowing that the data analytics, data science, machine learning techniques we are talking about. Yes, actual your machine learning algorithms comes into picture that the classification of such kind of problems. Okay. So many times, maybe you might be knowing that nowadays, I think even in Pune also there will be a management institution there. Okay, even the attendance system, how they are making an attendance system. Now biometric is gone now. Okay, biometric that fingerprint is one of the oldest technology for taking the attendance now. Now the newer technology, just there is a camera is going to be fixed there. Everybody is going to look into that particular camera within a fraction of a second. Your attendance is going to be captured. This is the real challenge of image processing. This is the real challenge of machine learning techniques. Simply looking into that particular camera, everybody's eyes, everybody's face is looking into that. Your attendance is going to be captured. Within a fraction of a second, your attendance is going to be captured. No need of talk, no need of making it come, because you might be knowing that during the COVID, there is no thumb is there, only the face. Only the face. So friends, do you know this? After wearing the mask, there are so many research papers coming to the market that half face mask. How my system will recognize after wearing mask also? Okay. Only by looking into this much part you are going to recognize. Is it possible or not? Is it possible or not? Yes, it is possible. Because many of young friends, so many young friends, they are going to have only eyebrows in their mind. Are you getting this point or not? Only eyebrows of Aishwarya Rai on a number plate, two-wheeler number plate. Anybody want to see that? Everybody is going to identify that this is the eyebrow of Aishwarya Rai. This is a very great machine learning technique. Everybody knows. Now that's why friends, even after wearing a mask also, my biometric system is going to recognize the person. So friends here, so this is one of the, what you call a science where you are going to make a clustering of the data. Okay, it is a clustering analysis is the formal study of algorithms and methods for grouping and classifying your objects here. Okay, go for it. Okay, later on I can save PPT here itself and leave it. Later on you can see here. Okay. Now what is the challenge in the data clustering here? Okay. What is the challenge in the data clustering here? Okay. So your challenge is, it is a crucial problem in identifying the clusters in a data is to specify the proximity. That is the closeness of what we call your data, very near in a space, time and a place. So this is a big challenge here. Big challenge of clustering of your data. Everybody has weird mask. Okay. It is a big challenge for classification. It is a big challenge for what you call recognizing your space. Okay. So now, as it is to be expected, the notation of the proximity is the problem dependent. Now, friends, whenever you are creating a database, you please try to focus on the proximity of your database. Okay. Okay. Now, just this is the background of our data clustering here. Your clustering is comprised of number of similar objects collected or grouped together. So now, even for final year students, okay, many of you are going for the market, going into the market and you are making projects, ready-made projects. Okay, you don't do that. You take a very simple problem. You take a very simple problem and do a such kind of research for example, clustering of database. Okay, there are many methods are there. You try to understand those clustering methods, study those clustering methods, create one database. This will help you in your further research or maybe your job. Nowadays, you might be knowing that the data science and data analytics will have a big openings in the market. So friends, if you are doing such kind of a small project also, definitely it will help you in your career also. Okay. Now, yes, next. Now, so just I am giving a reviewing. Here I have not taken any experimental work here. Just I am giving a briefing of what are the different clustering methods are there. So how you can do research. Even nowadays you might be having an open source Python image. Earlier the MATLAB was used for image processing and machine learning. Nowadays the Python is there in the open source. You can use Python and you can make a very short outcomes analysis. Okay. Now the connectivity based clustering is one method. Okay. Partitioning method is there. Distribution based method is there. Density based clustering, grid based clustering, and fuzzy based. And lastly, you can have a supervised clustering. These are the different clustering methods are there. Okay. You can. Now, so this is one what you call a very simple clustering method. I think nowadays in easy program also they are having a machine learning as one of the subject. So these are the what you call very simple what you call algorithms you can implement. Okay, and try to make it. Now connectivity based clustering is also known as a hierarchical clustering. It is based on the core idea of objects being more related nearby objects that to object further away. These algorithms again based on the objects to from a clusters based there. This is one hierarchical method where you can have the clustering. Next. Okay, the next one is you will have the partitioning method. So partitioning method is also one clustering technique where you can apply your algorithm. Okay, it is based on the similarity of the data. Now here, why I am giving this briefing means, so which technique I have to apply for clustering of the data. And then it is depending on the database, whether the method is depending on the database or database is going to be depending on the clustering method. In what situation I have to take the clustering method. That is very, very important. Many times what happens, just we are going to use the database and we are applying this clustering method. Okay, and we are drawing these results and we are making a conclusion of that. So friends, whether that clustering technique is applicable to your database is or not. Okay. So this is a big challenge where what kind of a clustering technique you are using for that database. Okay, like for example, I want to make a clustering of only the male and female of this particular class. Now what clustering method I have to use this? Okay. Whether I have to go for hierarchical method, whether I can go for partition, whether I can go for connectivity based, whether I can go for centroid clustering method. So this is the real understanding of the particular problem and applying the clustering technique. Okay. Now just to go for next. Okay. Now you are one of the methods. K-mean method is one of the what you call clustering method. this is one algorithm here based on the k-mean, a centroid based technique is there. So you can use this particular algorithm, the clustering algorithm, where you can classify. Okay, this is just a flowchart of that one. Okay. Next. Yes, you just try to look into a very simple example. How this k-mean is working. Okay, nowadays what happens? In a toolbox, in a MATLAB toolbox, we have a ready-made function. Okay. We are calling that function, and we are giving our data to that particular function, and we are getting the result. We don't know how my k-mean algorithm will work. Okay. So many papers, okay, while reviewing our papers, okay, the k-mean algorithm gives the good results. K-mean algorithm will give the good results. If we are asking why it is giving a good results, what is the algorithm or the structure behind that? So many of us we don't know how the k-mean is going to work. So we are going to change k equal to 1, 2, 3 like this. What is the maximum number of this one? How actually it will work? So many of the research scholars, they don't know, go for k-mean class. Okay. So now, so this is one just live example is there. You can later on you can refer for clustering there. Okay. Now again this is a distribution based model is there. The clustering model mostly are closely related to the statistics based on the distribution model. How many of you might be knowing about the Gaussian distribution? Distribution techniques, probability density function, PDF. So in your image processing, suppose if you are going to learn from a noise models, there will be a probability density function is there, probability distribution is there. Now, how I can identify a noise in a particular image? How I can identify a noise in a image? Okay. Many of us maybe, if you are learned the already image processing, you will have the paper and salt noise is there, Gaussian noise is there, different kinds of uniform noise is there, different kinds of noises we have. Okay. Now, how we are going to extract the noise? How we are going to identify? I can say detect the noise in an image. Okay. Detecting a noise in an image is once again a problem to the PG scholars. If you are taking such kind of a problem for identifying a noise, itself is one of the small projects. You can carry out such kind of projects in near future. Okay, now these are the distribution model where you can make the clustering based on the distribution of data. Okay, now next. This is what we have a distribution based clustering is there. Okay, so you can see such kind of a problem. Okay, so such kind of algorithm based on your input, you can go for such kind of distribution. Next. Okay, so again this is a density based clustering algorithm is there. These are clusters are defined the area of higher density than the remainder of your data set. Okay, so now there will be one important density based method is there, that is a DB scan is one of the method where you can make a clustering of your data. Okay, go for it. Okay, now this is once again a grid based clustering algorithm. Okay, so now friends, again I am giving you that what kind of a database you have. Based on your database only, you have to think on the clustering. Simply don't apply all the clustering algorithm on your simple data. Now suppose for example, my database is having only 3 parameters. If my database is having only 3 parameters, name is there, okay, age is there, date is there. Okay, so this is the database, 100 samples is there, this is the database. I am applying every clustering algorithm to that. And I am claiming that so and so clustering algorithm is giving a good result. But is there doing such kind of experimental work on that? Okay, very simple final one. So friends, do you think that it is a novel? Is it a novel? No, friends. That's why our papers are going to be rejected as international journals. Journals like Untitled, journals like Schrodinger, straight away they are going to reject our papers. And what we are doing? Our next option, we are doing the next option. We are publishing our papers in other way. Friends, this is how we are eager in making the database creation, making the clustering and classification. Next. Yeah, again this is an algorithm. Nowadays you want to be knowing that fuzzy based clustering is there, right? This is you are working on. So this fuzzy clustering is one of the methods where you can cluster the data. Okay. Now this is one of the best clustering methods if you are looking into the data classification, clustering. So you can go for this fuzzy clustering method. Okay. I don't want to discuss more on this, what is exactly fuzzy, how the fuzzy will work and all these things. So this is one of the methods where you can make a clustering of this. You can just I can give you lastly, you can see the last part of our slide is clustering problems have applications in surface science, biology, medicine, psychology, economics and many other disciplines. Okay. So you can have a bioinformatics, image analysis, market analysis you are doing with the So these are the clustering methods. Go for it. This is again a constraint based clustering is just more. Okay. Now these are the some just I have given the themes of the data clustering method. Okay. So now what exactly the real problem again is a classification of the problem. Database classification. You have to classify the data. Now usually what we are doing the practice of classification here. Do you think that the database which is having only 3 parameters, is there any challenges for classification? Is there any real challenge for classification of age and weight? No. It's a simple problem. You cannot apply the classification method problem. A simple classification method. Okay. So that's already I have told you. Now you can see. I want to make the classification or the personality prediction based on your signature. Okay. One of my research scholars we did some work on that. Okay. Personality prediction based on your handwritten signature. He has collected nearby 1,000 persons samples. Okay. With varying age. Okay. 20-year age, 50-year age, like this, we have made like this. Now here, you will have a challenge for classification of the data. Okay. Whether your classification problem is a 2-class problem, 3-class problem, 4-class problem. Now suppose for example, I want to make a classification of male and female. I have only 2-class problem. Okay. So now suppose if I want to make this problem for 4-class. Like for example, male and female, this is a 2-class problem. Even in male, I want to make a MSc first year 1 class, MSc second 1 class, research scholar 1 class. Okay. Likewise, even male female, I want to make a 6 classes. Okay. Again, I want to make another class. That is what I am talking about the intra-class here. Even based on height also, I want to make another class. Based on weight also, I am going to make another class. Means that a 2-class problem I want to bring into a 20-class problem. There the real challenge database, you can make a 2-class problem also. If you want to make this, you can make a 10-class problem. Okay. Now, how you are going to make a 50-class problem on particular database? So now the classification based on what we call it, you can say make the label of that one and try to make the classification of it. The classification is based on labeling of that particular data item here. Okay. The classification is a task that requires the use of machine learning algorithm that learn how to assign a class label to example from the problem domain. So you have to make a label, class label. Based on that, you can make a classification of the data. Okay. Now, there are many different types of classification tasks that you may encounter in a machine learning and specialized approaches to modeling that may be used for your. Okay. So you go for this. Okay. Now this is one just a data classification. What do you call it? Model. This is the general model. Whenever anybody can see this in your books for machine learning technique. So just you can make the what do you call labeling information. You have always have the training set and the testing set. Whenever we are making a classification, we are making a training and testing. Many of us we are doing 80% training and 20% is for testing. What is the reason behind this? Why can't 50% training? Why can't 50% testing? Okay. Usually what we are doing, 80% for training, 20% for testing. Why can't 50-50? If your training and the testing, if your training set is very less, what happens? If your training is less, what happens? Your classification will become very poor. It is very simple as that. If you have a very less training, okay, no doubt you will have a less classification. Okay. Now you have to validate your data also. The validation of the data is very, very important. Okay. Some of the research scholars they are doing research on a problems like a medical problems. Okay. Medical related problems, like for example. Okay. So many students they are doing a cancer detection problem. Cancer detection problem. They are going to take an image. They are doing an image processing and they are claiming that 80% classification data. I am asking a particular student says that whether you have met any doctor. He says that no. What is the necessity to meet the doctor? When you are doing a research on that medical field, you have to have at least the domain knowledge. To which part I can say that this is the cancer detection, this is the cancer. Okay. So, friends, whenever you are doing such kind of problems, you always keep with consultation with the doctor. What doctor will say? No doubt your algorithm will say. Your algorithm is saying that 80% is okay. Now, what doctor is saying that? After looking into that particular image, doctor will say that there is no cancer detection here. But your algorithm is saying that the 80% already cancer detection. So friends, that's why your validation of data is also an important. You have to validate the data. As already I have told you, the first time it is prediction based on the signature. Now I asked my student that whether you have met any graphologist or not. Okay, you have made a class, no problem. Okay, you have made a 20 class problem, you have analyzed it, everything you have done. Okay, according to your algorithm, it's giving a different class, classification rate, everything is giving. Now, whether your results are validated by some graphologist or not. The graphologist has to say that this is yes, if he is having a such kind of a diabetic signature, crop detection here. Okay, this is detection for the crops. Have you made that? This tractor tools? Have you made an agriculturist? Whether they are having a problem, what kind of a problem they are having? Right? Only collection of images, only making the clustering, only making the classification, only making the claim that my result is better than the other results. This is not the way to do things. Always you have to have a validation of the data. Without validation your data, okay, we cannot say that our results are going good. Okay, so friends, this is one what we have. A training set, you will have the feature generation. Okay, you make the database of the features. Then you can go for the classification based on the testing of the data. Okay. Okay. Now, what are the different machine learning classification algorithms we have? There are so many classification algorithms we have. This regression analysis is one common method you are using. Okay. Okay. So, one my suggestion is whenever you are doing some such kind of classification and clustering, it is better to meet some statistician. It is better to meet some statistics professor. Whatever the data you are analyzing, whatever the data you have analyzed, the process whatever you are applying, okay, the process whatever you are doing, whether it is correct or not. It is better, my advice is it is better to consult some statistician for analysis of your data. If you are working on huge data, then it is suggested that you can contact or consult with the what you call statistician here. There are different classification methods are Naive Bayes is there, decision tree, random forest, K nearest, SVM is there, stochastic gradient algorithm, kernel approximation, the binary classification. These are the methods. Usually what we are doing, the same thing what I am telling you, only get three features I am applying all the classification algorithm on. What is the meaning of that? Is there any meaning for applying all the classification algorithm? And lastly we are saying that K nearest neighbor is giving a good result. So friends, no doubt K nearest is giving a good result. Then what is the use of making other classification method? When you have only 2-class problem, the binary classification will give you a good result. Then why you are going for every K nearest neighbor? And lastly we are claiming that binary classification is giving my good result. No doubt you have only 2-class problem, no doubt your binary classification will give you a good result. Okay. So friends, that's why you are going to have a database. What kind of a database you have, what kind of a classification techniques you are going to use, that is more important. Okay. So there are so many what you call techniques are there. Just I can go for one by one. Okay. This is the regression method is there. Okay. Just you can go. Just go back. Okay. Now you can see here the regression method. We can predict whether it will be rain today or not based on the current weather conditions. Okay. Now when we are going to use the regression analysis, is important. One example I have predicted here, we can predict the rain today. How we can predict the rain today? Okay. How we can predict the, I think somebody is saying that 28, 29, 30 there will be a huge temperature in 100. Even Dr. Professor is telling me. What basis? It is predicted here. So friends, it is again based on the regression. You can predict based on the regression. Likewise, you can go for such kind of what you call algorithm. Again, it is a Naive Bayes is there. Okay, so again it is useful for predicting the class of a data set. Using this, you can perform a multi-class prediction. If you have a multi-class, then you can go for the Naive Bayes. When for doing the navigation. But even though we know it, we want to make a table in our research paper. We want to make a graph in our research paper. That's why we are comparing our results with so many clustering algorithms, so many classification algorithms. We want to make the pie chart, graph chart, and lastly we are saying that binary classification is giving a good result. What is there in doing all these things? Then you have only 2 class form. Friends, there is no meaning of doing all these funky exercises. That's why straightforward our paper is going to be saying that only simple sentence, there is no novelty given. There is no other comments you will not get. Only saying that there is no novelty in the work paper is presented. So because of this analysis, because of this clustering, because of this classification, because of the database what we are using, most of our papers are going to be rejected. Because the basic things we are missing there. Okay. Basic things we are missing. If we miss the basic things, definitely our research work is going to be rejected. So friends, during a research, okay, preparation of the database, you please take a much more time for the preparation of the database. Okay. It is not compulsory that before you post work, you have to publish 2-3 papers. No. You publish at least 3 papers or 4 papers, that to quality journal is enough. Okay. I think even UGCR can only do 2 papers. That to reference journals, 2 is enough. But the quality work has to be presented. Okay. Okay. Now again your distantry algorithm is there. Okay. These are the classification algorithm. Again, I don't want to go for much more on this. This is a k-nearest algorithm. Many of us we are using k-nearest algorithm. So friends, your k-nearest algorithm will work on based on the intermediate distance between the 2 objects. Okay. So just you can go for it. This is a very simple algorithm. Very simple algorithm. You can use this algorithm for taking a simple problem, a simple example. You can do this. Automatically you might be knowing what kind of k-means of clustering is there. Next. This is the support vector machine again. Just next one. Okay, random forest. Okay. So now many of us random forest we also we are using. In what situation? In what kind of a data we have to use the random forest? Okay. So now you can say random forest classifier facilitate the reduction in overfitting of the model, and these classifiers are more accurate than the decision tree in a several cases. Okay. So you have to think what kind of your data is there. Okay. Now you can go for it. You can go for it. Yeah, this is one method. I will keep this PPT with you. Again, you can advantages, disadvantages. You have written it. Please go through this. Now I will go to this. Yeah, next. Yeah, this is one what I already have told you, the binary classification. This is one of the basic classification method one can use for classification of your data. Okay, next. Again, working of algorithm KNN already have given. Just can go first. This is the pros and cons. This is the pros and cons of a KNN algorithm. You have many advantages you have about the KNN classifier. The major disadvantage is it's computationally it's expensive algorithm because you store all the training data. The major disadvantage of KNN algorithm is whatever the training you are doing, every trained data is going to be stored in your computer. That's why the computational complexity automatically will take more. So that is one of the major disadvantages here. Okay, you will have a many what you call application in a banking system, calculating the credit rankings, many things you have. Okay, next first. Okay, now. So now you see, up till now we have a data clustering class. The real challenge is analysis of the data. Data analysis. for this. Now I want to analyze the classroom data here now. Okay, no doubt I have made it clustering, I have made it classification. I want to analyze this particular. Okay, after making the clustering and classification, my analysis is like this. First analysis. The male are so active rather than the female in the classroom. My first analysis is the male are so active rather than the female participant. How I can analyze this? On what ground I have analyzed this? Whether my sentence is true, whether my statement is true or false. Because I am doing these things. In so many research papers, we have got such kind of analysis, such kind of observations. Okay, such kind of observations we are giving. Meaning is the database is different, the clustering is different, classification is different, analysis is different. What analysis they are written? That the male participants are more active rather than the female. Can you correlate with this statement with your tutor's problem or not? How we can correlate this? Okay, again I come to next recommendation here. The next conclusion I am coming here. Okay, in the male participation, okay, the faculty members are more active rather than the research scholars. Yes, such kind of prediction, such kind of analysis, these are all vague analysis we were doing. The vague analysis. There is no correlation between the clustering, classification and analysis. Your clustering is different, your classification is different, your analysis is also different. So friends, it is again a real challenge for analysis of the data. We are very poor in analysis of the data. Okay, we are doing a research, we are doing everything. Creation of data is okay. Okay, clustering algorithm is okay. We are getting a very good results. Okay, we are getting a precision, recall, classification rate, everything we are getting good. The very next part is analysis, experimental analysis. There we are very good. Analysis of data is very good. That's why many times our people are doing it. Usually what we are doing, okay, we are taking a pie chart. If you go to every research paper, everywhere we will have a bar graph or maybe a pie chart. We never think about the box part. Okay, we never think about the box part. So friends, why I am giving this means, in what situation, in which situation, what kind of analysis should be there. Okay, your analysis is depends on again your database. Your analysis is depends on again your clustering method. Your analysis is depends on your class. Simply don't use any analysis tools for analysis of data. Okay, there are now you will have a many what you call the data analysis tools. It makes easier for user to process and manipulate the data, analyze relationship and correlation between the data. How you are going to make the relationship between the what you call data sets, okay, correlations, okay, given manipulating. Those who are having image processing, I asked one simple example. How many of you know about the structure similarity index? Anybody knows the structure similarity index? standard deviation, value, certain value, numeric value. What it indicates? What it indicates? Mean you have calculated. Yes, I got 20 mean. What is the meaning of that? Mean you have calculated. Standard deviation you have calculated. Every mathematical parameters you have calculated. I made a table saying that these are my results. Lastly, we are saying that these are the results. Okay, these are giving a better results. Whatever the earlier. Such kind of a poor analysis is very dangerous for our paper. Very dangerous for our research. Okay. You use a simple formulas, try to understand what exactly the formula will say, what exactly the analysis of that particular formula. You have to make sure that what kind of analysis you are doing. But again, your database is different, clustering is different, classification is different, your formula is different, and your analysis is different. In our research paper, there will be a not a triangle again with a square. 4 direction my paper is going. There is no correlation between each direction. Now, how our paper is going to be accepted? This is a major setback to us. Now here you can have, there are certain tools used for data analysis in research. Your SQL is there, your MATLAB is there, your Python, R programming is there. Okay. So anybody is using R programming? R programming is one of the best programming for doing some statistical analysis also. Java is there, your SAS is there, SPSS is there. So these are the data analysis tools for analyzing the data. Next. Okay. So now, here we have another point. So now, you can see here, what are the data analysis methods you have? You will have a text analysis, statistical analysis, diagnostic analysis, predictive analysis, perspective analysis. Now friends, what kind of analysis you are going to make it, again it is purely depend on your data. What your database is, according to that you can make the analysis of that. You will have a text analysis, okay, it is referred to a data mining technique, okay, so there you can make a analysis based on your market, okay, some statistic business decisions are going to be taken based on the text analysis here, to go further. Statistical analysis is there, descriptive analysis is there, okay, so now you have a inference analysis is there, your diagnostic analysis is also one important analysis for your data. Okay, next. This is the predictive analysis. This is the predictive analysis. You usually your market, you are going to make a predictive analysis of those things. Okay, what is my prediction? Okay, how the market is going to be. Usually, your stock market, your it is based on again the predictive analysis. Okay, the same thing you will have the perspective analysis here. Okay, your data analysis process. Okay, is nothing but gathering the information using a proper application or tool which allows to explore the data to find a pattern here. Okay, go for next. Okay, so this is the last slide what I am going to say. I am very happy if you have any questions or interaction. Please ask. sometimes like the so some kind of a problem, I can say challenges or multi-class problem. So you have to have a feature technique. You have to extract a feature based on that dominant features. You have to have a dominant features so that you can have a so only that the feature extraction will use to solve your problem for you. You have to take a more parameters for that. Now, like for example, only the two class problem. No, we have to correct so many features. No doubt, even some noisy data is also
School of Computational Sciences. Before 2 or 3 weeks, I was meeting with Professor about the talk for here in international conferences. Then he accepted that our invitations for that purpose. Very much thank you. And today, we deliver very nice interactions with new researchers, new research supervisors. Also, here a number of new research supervisors are here, and some PhD students are also here. And I think that the talk of Professor Schrodinger is very helpful for new research. He covered from data collection to the analysis of the results. We are about complete process whenever we start new research up to the conclusion of our research, consideration of the research to these steps. Sir touched and explains very nicely with the real life examples. That again, thanks to Professor Schrodinger, and also thanks to Professor Patil, with Schrodinger, coming here. Thank you. And I am announcing here that declared that session is completed. And the next session will start after the lunch. It may be on 2:30.
See, next plenary talk is about around 2:50. Okay, so we have to wind up like that. Okay, so again we have to gather here.